Good evening, it's Tony E again. I am one of the owners of Harp Gamer and a Harpoon Classic programmer. Tonight we are going to take a look at this issue report from Aviator. It's having some problems with an older version of Harpoon, and I'm guessing this is a problem of database incompatibility. I'm using a database that is not compatible with the version of the game that is being used. So we are going to jump right into installing this nice old version of Harpoon. We will start with the 2008.044 installer. There'll be some nice waiting here. I'm not time shifting or anything with this recording. All right, it says, oh my, you have an operating system that is not necessarily supported. We definitely came before the days of Windows 10 with Harpoon Commander's Edition. I'm going to pause here and plug in the serial number. And with the serial number in, just click Next to keep on going with the install. Oh, it looks pretty fancy. So you see the battle set builder here that has the biggest files and makes up for the big file size increase in the installer. All right, then we want to get up to version 2009.050, which is where I think Aviator is at. That's a little unclear. It looks like some newer patches were attempted to be installed. All right, serial number again. Be back shortly. And the update. And this was a pretty big update to get to 2009.050 from 2008.044. As you can see again, Betaset Builder has the big files, otherwise Harpoon itself is pretty small, and the big files are the pretty map and the texture really being the one that defines where land and sea intersect. All right, that installed. Now that we have that installed, let's go ahead and run the launcher, and we'll see if this works without an administrative rights prompt. All right, first thing I'm going to do is hop right into the scenario editor, which shouldn't work because in 2009.050 it is a 16-bit program, and this is running on a 64-bit version of Windows 10. So the scenario editor does not work at all. A really simple way to know if you're on a 64-bit version of Windows is to take a look on your main system drive. If you have this program files x86, that means that you are on a 64-bit version of Windows, and that stock Harpoon Commander's Edition scenario editor will not work for you because it is a 16-bit program. So you can maybe get an idea of that based on the lack of an icon. And as much as we want, it just will not run natively on a 64-bit version of Windows 10. The 64-bit version of Windows 10 will run 32-bit programs. It has an emulator, but it can't then go all the way back to 16-bit. So we can try some funny stuff. As long as we're at it, we may as well do that. Let's go to harpgamer.com to the forums, and we will download a couple of beta patches and see how far that gets us. Again, probably won't get us very far, but sometimes these things work. And we can look at the current files in the beta testing section. And this says, all right, start with 2015.027. We can't actually get to that version with the Commander's Edition that requires Harpoon Ultimate Commander's Edition, but we'll try to fake it anyway. So we download the two files. They will eventually do their thing. All right, so we start with the older patch, 2018.002. Run through that installer. Windows is trying to protect us from ourselves. We're going to run it anyway. I happen to trust it. I made the file, I uploaded it. Somebody could have ruined it on the website, but it doesn't appear anybody has done that yet. All right, it actually picked up the installation directory. A little impressed by that since it's technically a different game, or sales-wise it's a different game. And then we'll go and install the most recent update as well, the 2021.006. I have to install them in order since there are some files in the 2018 version that have not been updated in the 2021 version. Every now and again, I collapse them into one. Just haven't done that at this point. Maybe we'll do that in 2022. All right, now I've installed that most recent version. Just for the heck of it, let's run the game engine, the GE, otherwise known as WinHarp32. And all right, we're running a beta version. Let's see if by chance we are able to run something in the EC 2003 battle set. This uses what's called the CommonDB database, meaning a database is shared between all of the CommonDB battle sets, as opposed to earlier battle sets where they each had a database embedded. And here it's actually working. All right, we're on build 2021.006 of the game engine. And we are using the HCDB 2015, September 29th. All right, that is very promising. So since that worked, let's be nice and brave and head on over and see if the scenario editor will work. I'm kind of old-fashioned. I normally go in through Windows Explorer rather than going through like the Matrix Games launcher. And we see here we have the old 16-bit scenario editor, but now we also have this 32-bit scenario editor. So I will go ahead and open that up, and we will take a look at EC 2003 CommonDB battle set. Ooh, I don't like that land color, so I will go to settings and say I want a gray land color. I like that contrast better. And then file, edit battle set scenario. I always like to pick on Nordic Light for some reason. I have no idea why. Open that up. All right, and I heard something about even just moving a carrier group causes a problem. I'm going to change that group's position. So, all right, let's be closer to the action here so we can get that carrier sunk even sooner. All right, so we move that. Let's take a look at its course. It didn't have any course entered, so let's enter a course for that carrier group. They're going to take a little jog towards the Kola Peninsula, and they're going to run like mad. See if they can get back through the gap. All right, so as long as we're there, let's take a look and see. We set a speed at 0.0. Maybe we want to set a speed at 0.1 as well. We're going to say to the point of flying out of there. Let's give them up to 30 knots. It'll be nice and loud for those red submarines. All right, I'm going to try to save this. Cross my fingers. And say Nordic Light Daring. Back then they were CVPGs. Save that, and no crash. So I'm pretty happy with that result. I'll go ahead and close this. And there's an interesting file here, the scenario editor.log. This is a handy file to send to us for support because it says what version did you run, when was it built, what battle set are you using, and what database is loaded. And here it's actually lying about the database, which is interesting. I have to look into that at some point. And also the game engine.log, ge.log. So is that right? 2021.006. Oh, we did have a newer version of the database when we had looked at the 2015 15 version. That was a different build of the game. All right, so we see nice things for the game engine.log as well. It tells us a little bit more information about the scenario that we're loading. Anyway, that ran, so now we'll load this up again in the game engine itself, and we'll see if that modified scenario loads for us. Greenland, Iceland, United Kingdom gap. I'm going to load a user scenario this time, so we get our modified one. Here's our nice Nordic light. We didn't write any custom orders for that scenario. And lo and behold, it works. Our carrier group is doing its daring thing. We'll go ahead and close out of there. And since we saw that orders message, let's just go ahead and take a look at the orders writer. So again, that was ordwrite.exe. You can kind of give it an idea of what scenario we're talking about. And really, this is just grabbing file names. And if existing files are there, it will open them. Okay. There we go. And you can put an order street side. Say blue side orders go here. Now this is a simple tool, but it is a super handy thing to have. There is a lot of scenarios out there that do not have orders written for them. And these will show nicely in the game now when I load that scenario. I'm going to load a user scenario again. Our nice Nordic light. And now we have our scenario background and our blue orders. So scenario authors definitely put in some orders. Even if you don't distribute your scenarios, it is a handy thing to put that information in for you to see back on yourself someday down the road. All right, and I think we'll call that it for this video. I think we've shown that you can update Harpoon Commander's Edition to run on the most current version of Windows just through the magic of an update that happens to work with a version that it's not built for. All right, have a good evening. Again, Tony E signing off.